maybe we'll give everyone just another minute or two to join us, and then we'll get started with today's seminar. All right, so I know we still have some people joining us, but we can go ahead and get started because I know there's going to be lots of great questions, and we want to make sure we have time for everyone to get their questions in. So thank you all so much for joining us today for the second of our four-part seminar under the Post-Secondary Pathways in Ontario series. These seminars are being hosted by the Ontario Association of School Districts International, and we have students from across the province attending today. So today's seminar is titled Applying to Post-Secondary Studies in Ontario as an International Student. So my name is Sarah Leeming, and I'm happy to welcome our panelists today. We are super lucky to be joined by four knowledgeable and experienced representatives from Ontario universities and colleges. With us today are Megan Vandervoren from Western's Huron University, Nancy Pittman and Maggie Chen from Mohawk College, and Huiyang Ling from the University of Ottawa. So I'll invite each of our panelists to tell us a little bit more about themselves and their institution, and then we will jump right into questions. So please feel free to add in the chat window any questions you have for our panelists about applying to post-secondary in Ontario as an international student. Megan, would you like to start off?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Megan Vandervoren, and I'm the Director of Recruitment Admissions at Huron University. I'm so happy to meet you all and looking forward to having this conversation about applying to university. So Huron University is the founding school of Western University located in London, Ontario, and we have remained strategically small for almost 200 years. We have a limited enrollment of 1,500 so that we're able to provide our students with the opportunity of participating in lively discussion, access to our world-class alumni, our culture of care, which is second to none, where we have people who will support you through your academics, through moving to campus, through to graduation. And we also offer paid internships for all of our students. And recently today, we just launched our Scotiabank Career Accelerator program, which is available to all of our students. And it has a series of components within your 4 years that really sets you apart by building up your portfolio throughout your 4 years at university, so that when you graduate, you have all the skills necessary for employers that they're looking for, as well as the liberal arts education that provides you with the critical thinking, communication, and ability to adapt to our ever-changing workforce. In addition, we have exclusive partnerships with schools like the Richard Ivey School of Business, as well as Harvard, where we have a partnership with their business school, and access to our alumni network. So one thing that students always say is, you know, having alumni is great, but what are those alumni going to do for me as a student? So at Huron, through our mentorship program, our internships where alumni recognize our talent and hire only our students, as well as our alumni relations program, you're able to work with your with Huron grads through various different disciplines, through various different careers, so that they're able to support you and really help you with getting a glimpse of what it's like to be a lawyer or, you know, a marketing leader, as well as provide you with that necessary support for helping you achieve your educational and career goals. So I'll pass it over to Maggie and Nancy from Mohawk.
Thank you very much, Megan. A pleasure to meet the panelists and everybody here. So as mentioned, my name is Nancy Pittman. I work at Mohawk College in the International Department, and I'm going to introduce my colleague Maggie in just a moment. Just a little bit about Mohawk College. We were established in 1967 in Hamilton, Ontario. We have 5 campuses. Our main one is the Fennel campus. We have a campus at Stony Creek, which is for skilled trades. We have a campus at McMaster called the Institute for Applied Health Sciences. We also have a campus at Hamilton Airport, which is the Aviation Center. And we have a brand new campus at Mississauga campus. We are in a College of Applied Arts and Technology. So what does that mean? We have programs ranging from computers, business to healthcare. A little bit more about Mohawk College. We are known as a research institute, as well as one of the oldest co-op schools in Canada. We have had a co-op program at Mohawk, the college, for over 50 years. And by that, that means that we have lots of employers that we work with that can help you get a job after you start school. And also, we have a number of top programs. We are a college, as I mentioned, so we have certificates, diplomas, and now we actually also have degree programs. And I just wanted to mention a few fast facts about the college before I turn it over to Maggie. I'm taking up all the time. So a college of over 30,000 students, 17,000 full-time. We have almost 5,000 international students. We have 30 communities within 10,000, of over 10,000 people within 100 kilometers. We have 20 plus co-op programs available to international students. A great fact is almost 90% of our grads are employed within 6 months. We have 100 plus campus on-job opportunities for jobs for students. And we are the #1 for student satisfaction in the Greater Toronto Hamilton area of the colleges. I also just wanted to mention that we have students from almost over 100 countries right now, currently at Mohawk. So I just want to turn it over to Maggie quickly to just talk a little bit more about our services and what we want to do for you as international students. And I haven't given you very much time, but Maggie, over to you. Maggie Chen is my colleague who supports the China and Oceania region of the world, but we support each other, the entire team. So I'm going to turn it over to Maggie now. Maggie?
Thank you very much, Nancy. Hello, everyone. My name is Maggie Chen, and as Nancy mentioned, I'm marketing specialist for China and Oceania at Mohawk College, and I am the 8 of the marketing specialists in our team. I also have another 7 colleagues also working for regions like India, Europe, Africa, Caribbean, South America, Southeast of Asia, Middle East, and Korea, and Japan. The reasons I mentioned that those regions that we at the Mohawk will try to provide one window services for international students from out of the world. We try to provide home away from services, and we can speak their language to be able to help them, while working, study, working, and living in Canada. On our job duties, and we also help students to help them to choose the career pathway or university pathway after college study. And at the moment, we just launched our new application system last month by OCAS portal. I believe a lot of counselors and the schools very familiar with OCAS system. And we truly believe they will benefit for both the international students, in-country international students, and the overseas international students for their applying. We could discuss furthermore later on this session about this topic. And now I would like to pass on to Lynn from Ottawa University.
Thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, I just want to thank you, Sarah, to having us in this session today. My name is Ling. I'm the liaison officer working at the University of Ottawa. So I was actually also an international graduate student, graduate from the University of Ottawa just last year. And I'm in charge of the domestic international school, as well as the communication and marketing market in China. So a little bit of background about the University of Ottawa. So the University of Ottawa is located in the capital city of Canada, so Ottawa. Our campus is located on part of the downtown areas in Ottawa. And we actually established in 1848. So we're also one of the largest and oldest research university in Canada. And besides for that, we are also providing our students with 6 undergraduate faculty from business to science to health science to engineering, and also 3 professional faculty in the graduate level. And that will be the Faculty of Law, Faculty of Education, and also the Faculty of Medicine. And besides of that, we are also one of the best co-op programs in the Ontario. We're actually the 2nd largest co-op program. All of the co-op program offered in the University of Ottawa available for international students. I myself was actually also graduated from one of the co-op program, and that's actually how I find my job right now. And besides, we have the largest international exchange program in the provinces. So we collaborated with over 400 universities in the world with 50 more countries. And besides for that, we have our international office and supports for all of our international students like me. So I totally understand that as international students, you guys travel along to Canada by yourself without your parents. And I understand that it's such a new environment, such a new challenges for you guys. So at a university, we have a lot of the services such as our international mentor. We have an mentorships programs in each faculties. And besides for that, for those of you English is your 2nd language, we have the English writing support centers located right on our school. And I think it's pretty helpful for you guys to have a better and smooth transitions either from your country or from the city to the city of Ottawa. So I guess I'll spend some more times later during the question part. And yeah, I guess that's all about me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And a very big thank you and welcome to the 4 of you. And I know that you're going to provide us lots of great information today. So I have some questions that we can start off with, and we'll jump right in. I just want to remind all of our participants that this is being recorded, so you can share it with your family, you can share it with your friends who weren't able to attend, and also if you're not quite sure you understood what was said, or if there was something that you think you maybe missed, you can watch this recording, and you can always contact one of our panelists after the session. So there's lots of ways to get the information, even if we'll be covering a lot today. So our first question from an international student is, how do I know what university or college to apply to, and what program is right for me? So Ling, do you want to start with that? And then maybe we can have our other panelists respond as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say every university's programs, colleges, we all have our uniqueness. So my suggestion for you guys is actually do your research and explore before you actually make the decision. For example, we have one of the best co-op programs, but maybe the Western Huron, they have some good research program. So what I would suggest you guys to do is visit our website. And also if you have a chance, maybe just travel to our city, make a campus tour, and actually visit a campus, visit the buildings by yourself, so that you can actually know which is your dream school. So that's my suggestion for you guys.
Great, thanks.
Can I speak? Do you want me to talk next, Sarah?
Sure.
I didn't know how you wanted to work this, but that was a really great answer, Ling. You kind of just took the words right out of my mouth. But I think we are so lucky in this age of technology that you have so much information at your fingertips. So I totally agree. Go to the website, check it out. Maybe the co-op programs aren't for you, and there might be, another place where it's a little bit more appropriate for you. But I think we kind of talked about alumni. I think it's really great to talk to people who've already gone to that school, especially if you are an international student. Maybe you're in a high school here in Canada, talking to your guidance counselor, sort of seeing if you can go visit the school, which I think by January we can actually do. Things are changing. But I think just talking, one of my biggest pieces of advice would be talking to someone who's gone through that journey, especially as as international students, is not as easy as myself when I went to school. So it's a little bit more of a process. And all of these schools here that are here today, we all have departments that are going to help you just to apply. So just do your research, but get in touch with someone who's already who's already gone there, and they can give you the ropes, and it just helps. It helps as a peer mentor. It just helps to make you feel comfortable. Maggie, do you want to add anything to that?
Yes, Nancy, thank you for great of the suggestions. On top of it, I would like to comment that for international students, make sure your own interests. I know a lot of by the cultural differences, maybe your program choice maybe is not you're the best interesting, maybe the parents or somebody else. But I will encourage as international students to choose the program you like the most, and also get touched with the, for instance, like what we're doing at the Mohawk, get touched with your marketing specialist. We can speak your language, and we know the programs, we know the services, and also we could help students to plan their career goal later on, how you study and working, and then later on maybe living in Canada. I think through those components all together, it will make solid to study plan for international students for the next 3 or 4 years. Thanks.
So just to add to that, I just want to note that we're very fortunate in Canada with the level of education that we have. So, a lot of students that I've met throughout my career working in education ask me about ranking and how do I know if it's a good school and so forth. And really, you can't go wrong in Canada. Again, we're very lucky that we have such a high level of university as well as college, that that your education is going to be recognized no matter where you go within the world. So I think one thing to concentrate on is, looking at your values and what it is that's important to you, and finding an institution that's going to meet those needs. So do you want to live somewhere rural? Would you rather live in a city core like downtown Toronto? Are you looking for internships or co-ops? What type of experience are you looking at? Do you want to be in a big school? Do you want to be in a small school? So for the universities, we have a great resource called OU Info. We're able to actually search by your interests as well as the program to help you kind of narrow down what types of institutions maybe have what it is that you're looking for. And then once you've kind of, thought about, different options and where you might want to go, again, visiting, connecting with current students, connecting with alumni, connecting with some of the staff there. It really changes your whole perspective once you're actually physically there, and you can really see yourself being there. But ask all the questions, do the research, ask about scholarships, what the career pathways are and so forth, and really making sure that whatever institution that you choose has all of the different supports put in place so that you're able to achieve your academic goals.
That's wonderful. Thank you. I think that's all really great advice. And I think that's such a great answer to that question. And I'll just add, for all of our students who are currently in high schools and currently in secondary school, you can always speak to your guidance teacher at your schools. They're within our secondary schools in Ontario, they're really the experts in helping students apply for universities and colleges. So they can help you with some of these steps and some of these processes that our panelists have shared today. And also, of course, if you're an international student enrolled at one of our many school districts across the province, there's always international education staff as well to help you. We definitely want to assist you onto the next step of post-secondary in Ontario. So thank you for that answer. So the next question I have is kind of a two-part question, two separate questions, but I'll add them together. What supports are in place to help international students navigate the application process? For example, are there specific resources or staffs just for international applicants? And are there staff to help with students' visa and study permit questions from transitioning from a high school program to a post-secondary program?
Do you want me to go first?
Sure, you guys can just jump in with.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say I'm actually your best resources to reach out to if you are international students who are currently studying in Ontario High School, because that's basically my market. And myself, I had the same experiences just like you guys. So I finished my high school in Toronto, and I transited to Ottawa to finish my undergrad as international students. And in terms of applying for visa, immigration and things like that, I understand that every international students, you have to apply for study permit and things like that. So at Ottawa, we have our international office, and we have specific immigration consultant. And every week they will be organizing different sessions, which we call it Immigration SOS. So if you just click into our website, and you will be able to find their Facebook page, and you can just click into the link. Whenever you have decided you have received an offer from us, and you want to apply for a study permit, you can just jump into the link, and they will be able to help you, because they're the experts in that field. They have the certificate immigration thing from the IRCC, so they will be there to help you throughout your study and also your transitions from your high school to the university. And besides, also, if you have any questions for me, just send us an email. I'm going to leave my email address later in the chat box. You can reach out to me and just put the subject as my name, and I will be contacting with you individually, and I can help you with any question that you have had about international students.
Yeah, thank you, Lynn. That's great comment. On top of it, I'd like to share that for university and college application system, just have slightly different. Like this year, Mohawk is starting to use OCA's new application system. And from what I know, other college might still using by sending email to their international department. So either way, depending on the school's system. So for international students, how are they going to apply? I would say make sure the major documents in place, and no matter you're submit by OCAS system or shoot email to their international department right away, be prepared with your passport page, with your study permit, especially for high school student in Canada, be prepared for your final transcript, that if that's if that's possible, and your high school degree, again, if by the time you're allowed or you are able to provide those documents. For some schools might still needs for the IELTS or other English proficiency support. For college, like Mohawk, if the students have more than 2 years study experience in Canada, we can waive the IELTS score, and this is the benefit for international students taking high school and apply to the college. If later on students still have more questions, and getting in touch with the international departments and find the person to speak to with, like at the Mohawk, no matter what country it comes from, you can find your region and find a marketing specialist to speak with. We can help students for some assisting on their visa renew relate to the questions, just talking about to share our experience with previous experience. But however, if students or counselors wants to get accurate information, we still highly recommend the students to speak to immigration consultant. That will be very helpful for student the next level up of the study permit, renew, or applications to the college. Yes.
Megan, did you have anything to add?
Sure. Yeah. So I think, all that has been said are definitely great things to think about when you are applying. And through the Ontario Application Center, whether it's through university or through college, it is a great way to have a centralized application so that you can apply to multiple schools and have all that information encompassed in one area. With language proficiency, depending on how long you've studied in an Ontario school, different institutions may require you to provide that. So it's just something to know that would be something that you would need to present to that institution, so that you're able to, determine what level that you're at, and maybe require some additional support within language, or maybe you can go directly into a program. For applying for your study permit, every institution is going to have someone that's going to support you with that. But being registered in an Ontario high school right now, you would just be, getting the documentation from your acceptance package, as well as the supporting documents, and then just changing the status of your study permit in Canada to include, your college or university program. At Huron, we have someone who's dedicated to supporting students through the application process through to, adding their course selection and so forth through to graduation. So it's, one point of contact so that you have one person that you can go to with all of your questions. And then thinking about going through, the pathway of school as well. You want to think about what, your different needs are and how the institution is going to support you with that. So, internships and co-ops come to mind. So, students who are joining us from different countries, sometimes it's not always, common to work throughout your high school, when in Ontario and in Canada, a lot of students have part-time jobs. So when it comes to creating a resume and so forth, there's different things that we include when you're applying for a position here that may not be, the same as what you're familiar with. So making sure that you have connections within that institution. And because we are such multicultural, schools within the province, we really, get to know our students and where they come from and what their individual needs are, and making sure that we have all the supports and knowledge in place so that we're able to help support you and make sure that you're set up for success.
If I could just add one thing, Sarah, because Megan just got me thinking. The other thing, and it was kind of a big question, so I might have not gotten all of it, but I did want to also mention that within the college and our department, we do have advisors and coaches just for our international students. So that is their whole job, is just to work with their students. And maybe there's some difficult or different circumstances that they have to work through, but that is their job. And we have a center just for the students. And I know a lot of schools do, but it is something when you are thinking about a school, you really should make sure that there's a place for you to go, people for you to connect with. And right now it's mostly virtual, but it's just really great to know that there is these supports. And as Megan also mentioned about careers, I think it was Megan, but we also have a career advisor that's just for international students. And he's just going to help you with your Canadian resume and like helping you find your first job and making sure you're getting paid properly, that an employer is not treating you poorly. So there is so many supports that you will find once you've made your decision. I think you will be so surprised to know just how much we want to support our students, all of these schools on here. We all want to support our students with as many services and supports as possible. There's just more and more every year. So just something to keep in mind.
Wonderful, thank you. So I mean, it sounds like there's lots of supports available for all of the students participating today. There's lots of people willing to help and who want to help and help you be successful. So there's the Ontario application system, which as Megan had mentioned is a great place to keep all of the applications. It's a wonderful kind of one-stop shop, but each university or college will also have international or staff dedicated to international students. So those are probably the best people for US students to reach out to, because as we all know, you do have, as an international student, different questions, different concerns when applying for university or college. So we want to make sure you're connecting with the right staff at each university or college. And again, as Nancy just mentioned, the universities and colleges in London do a phenomenally good job of supporting students, both international and domestic. And I think you will be well taken care of and well supported throughout the application process. And then once, of course, you choose a university or college to attend. So I have a question in the chat from Fatima, and it says, how can AP programs impact my application to university or college? So Megan, do you want to start us off with this one and talk a little bit about AP programs?
Yeah, definitely. So the students that complete the examinations for their AP courses may be entitled to receive some advanced standing for that. So typically, if students receive a 4 or 5 in some of their subjects, they would be eligible for receiving university credit that they could use throughout their degree. I believe the colleges do this as well through a similar process, but I'm not sure about how, to be honest, through the assessment through the admission. So I can let Mohawk maybe chime in about that. But on the university website, you will be able to see which courses would count and what the required score is. But it is something important that you need to remember, is that you are responsible for submitting your grades directly from the College Board, and the institutions would have an institutional code so that you can just request that to be sent to us.
Yeah, I'll say for Ottawa, it's the same as Western Huron. So basically, we accept AP courses as we can get some university courses transferred, credit transfer. So as long as you get 4 or 5 in specific programs and courses, you got some credits during the university. And basically, you same idea. You get our institution code, and you let your test center deliver that directly to the university. Also, have any questions, also feel free to visit our website or send an email to our admission office. So the email is admissions@uottawa.ca. It's a case-by-case situation depending on what kind of program that you're trying to apply, what kind of courses, what grades you got. So by providing all of the information to our offices, they will be able to give you an answer for that.
Great, thank you.
For the college admission for AP, we will recommend the students submit through the OCAS portal, and once our admission officer receive it, and they will submit this request to the program area. So program area, like the coordinators, professors, and they will evaluate on that, and we get back to the students. Normally it won't take too long, and we will direct to let the students if it could be waived or no.
Great, thank you. And thank you for that question. We have another question that's been asked a couple times. So I know there's people are eagerly awaiting a response to this question. Where can we find scholarship information for international students? Maggie or Nancy, do you want to start? Oh, Megan, sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. So I think within the OU info, there's an ability to search for scholarships through that portal, and then you can also indicate what your citizenship is for that search. And I think it's also important to look at the universities that you're applying to as well, because there may be some scholarships and different criteria that's posted on their websites that may not be showing through that. So at Huron, we offer up to $15,000 per year for automatic entrance scholarships. And then in addition to that, we also have scholarships they can apply for, like our international presidential, which is a $100,000 scholarship. So it's really important to do your research, see what's automatic, what requires additional information, so that you're able to plan and make sure that you have all of the application processes and nominations and so forth in place so that you don't miss any deadlines.
On top of Megan's, I would like to comment that for the colleges, my little bit different than universities for entrance scholarship. As college own, we don't offer the entrance scholarship, but we do have many more scholarship after first semester study. So once the students meet a certain GPA score and with the professors reference, or students could apply a variety of the scholarship after first semester studies. The scholarship start from $500 and up to $5,000 for students. However, we are working with A2 Canada. They offer scholarships for certain countries. So for international students, they could check online and see what year and what type of scholarships for a certain country and the regions of students.
Just add on to that, for scholarship and financial support at Ottawa, we do provide a lot of that to our students, especially international students. Last year, we actually gave out about $42 million to our undergraduate students, including our international students. So at Ottawa, we have two types of scholarship. The first type of scholarship is called automatic scholarship. So as his name said, it's automatically, you don't have to submit any of the application, you don't have to submit any of the supplemental material. You got that directly, you got that automatically once you reach out to the student standards. So for example, we have our Merit Scholarship. If you got 55% percentage for each term, you get $1,000 for each term, and it's also renewable. So in total, you got $8,000 for 4 years. We also have the French immersion scholarships, French immersion bursary. So basically, any international students who apply for a French program or French immersion program, you actually skip the international student tuition fee. So you basically pay almost the same as a local student. So for those of you who do have some knowledge about French, do check out on our website. And other than that, we'll provide a scholarship to students who go international exchange, who do their co-op abroad. So that's $1,000 for each term. So other than that, another type of scholarship is the prestigious scholarship. So like many other universities, we have the President Scholarship, we have the Chancellor Scholarship, Faculty Scholarship, and a lot of that. So for prestigious scholarship, that's the scholarship that will need your application to do so. So usually the deadline to apply for the scholarship application is before March or April next year. One tips I actually suggest you guys to do is after apply, you actually visit our students portal, and there is a small application called Financial App and Help. So basically you just enter all of your information there, and our system will automatically help you to identify what kind of scholarship that you are eligible to apply, depending on your background, depending on your citizenship, and everything like that. So the thing you need to do is just click and apply and submit whatever they ask you to do so. And also, like Maggie, you just mentioned, we also have a lot of the government bursary with Edu Canada. So depending on your country, your background, we also have a lot of the bursaries for our international students. So also check that out.
Wonderful, thank you. And I'll just mention as well that most school districts, most school districts within Ontario have lots of scholarships and awards for graduating grade 12 students. So if you are graduating and going on to university or college here in Ontario, make sure you talk with your guidance teacher and that you know how to apply for any scholarships that your school district may have. It's a great source of scholarship funds, and again, your guidance teacher will be able to help you kind of access what's available to you. So another question we have is, what are the benefits for international students in graduating from an Ontario high school when applying to a post-secondary institution in Canada? I guess the student is wondering, does it make a difference as an international student if they've studied in Ontario already, or if they're applying directly from abroad?
I'll start that one, and Maggie, if you want to add. Maggie's a little bit more of a specialist when it comes to this sort of stuff than me. I would think for the student, it's just easier. It's just so much easier because you are working with your guidance counselor, someone that's supporting your application. You already have your passport, your visa, your study permit. They can help you renew it. So your process is going to be a lot easier when it comes to applying to college. And you don't have to typically do IELTS or TOEFL or any other kind of English requirements. So in terms of that, and also I think for you as an international student in Ontario, you can actually maybe come and actually see the school you want to go to. That is a big plus for you, and maybe meet the people, or attend an open house. And I know everything's virtual these days, but you're going to have more opportunity to actually see and maybe see the residence you want to live in, and find out about what kinds of things as an international student in Ontario at a high school, what kinds of other people that are also wanting to go to maybe the same school. You guys could maybe go together or figure these things out together, but it is just a lot easier for a high school student. Maggie's, or before we go to the rest, is there anything you would add to that?
That's a great of comment, Nancy. Yes, a big time. Yes, that's way easier than students apply from abroad. There's two main factors. One is for the admission requirements. As Nancy already mentioned, that as a student, particularly for Mohawk, if a student has more than 1 or 2 years high school study experience in Ontario with the English 12 English, and for certain courses, we also look into the math score. As long as the student met our requirement, we will accept the students without the additional English proficiency test. And also for the visa purpose, I mean, students, they're already in Canada, they have study permit in hand already. So that would be much easier for students to get the acceptance and enroll to the programs. On the other side, I was another big factors from my past experience that international students graduated from high school here, they have much stronger English abilities, and they have more life and study experience in Canadian education system. So that would be much help for students for the first year, especially for first semester, their academic success. Also more quickly to establish the university level or college level academic delivery. So I would say these two major factors as big benefits for high school student in Ontario apply to college or universities.
I can add on several things on that. I definitely have a lot to say on this part, because I think it's, like you say, way more easier and the transition is much smoother. I'm actually an example. So I came to Canada when I was in grade 11. So I finished my high school in Ontario, in Toronto. And after I graduated, I got a lot of chances to visit different campuses in the provinces, or even within Canada outside of provinces. And by comparing everything I saw, I made my decision to do that. And also in terms of admission part, all the Ontario students will apply through the OASDI 101 entrance. Compared with international applicant from outside of Canada, they were applying from the 105 entrance. So I will say students who apply to the 101 entrance, it's less competitive. And also, like many of you guys have mentioned, the language ability, you definitely got a lot improved during your high school, because you do have a lot of your teachers, you have already made a lot of your friends in the local environment, and that will definitely help you to succeed like in the longer term. And also I saw questions in terms of the IELTS and language requirement. So basically, for international students who are coming from a country where English or French is not an official language in that country, but you have already completed 3 years here in Ontario high school, you don't have to submit IELTS test. So for the questions where Jared asked, if you have already spent 1 year in the high school, for us, you still have to submit IELTS. So for students who already complete more than 3 years, you don't have to submit any of the English language requirements.
So I'll just chime in to follow up to the question about the benefits of studying in Ontario. And you know, similar to some that were listed, I think the main thing is that you've already been in the country. You've learned in an environment in Canada, the cultural adjustment, the time zone adjustment that comes with it. You're going to be, you know, that further ahead when you're entering university with what it's like to learn in a Canadian high school in comparison to college or university. So I think that, you know, those are all going to be contributing factors to help you being successful. And then, you know, back to the application process, going through The UAC, Ontario University Application Center, we get all your grades directly from your school electronically. So that just kind of helps with speeding the process for your admission as well, rather than having to organize having all of your documents sent directly to every single institution. So there's another question about language proficiency. So I'll just kind of I'll speak to that further to what Ling had mentioned. So different universities and colleges require different requirements for maybe a particular program or their entire institution. So at Huron University, we do require 4 years. And some universities will have language pathways. So at Huron, we have a language school through Western English Language, where if your requirement is maybe a little bit lower than our entrance, then we would automatically provide you with a conditional offer based on the successful completion of that program. So it may be a summer program through a summer boost. It may be 4 months to 8 months plus, depending on where your language is. So that is a common practice within post-secondary institutions, so that we're able to provide you with the necessary support with your language before going into a full-time academic program.
I think there's lots of questions about the English language proficiency, and I think everyone, our panelists have answered that really well. That each university and college will have their own requirements, and each program within a university or college may have different requirements. So this is where really being able to connect directly with the admissions team from a specific university or college will be helpful. And specifically the admissions team that work with international students, because they'll be able to tell you really easily what the English requirements are when you have to submit that test result. And as Megan was just mentioning, any kind of programs the university or college may have, if you're close, but you need just maybe just a little bit of extra support before you start your program. So again, if you want to connect with the international admissions team from a university or college, you can always ask your guidance teacher for help contacting them. You can look on their website, or you can always ask your school district's international staff, and they can help you make those connections. And so we've had a few questions about kind of the timeline for university and college applications for international students. So I'm wondering if our panelists could speak to a general timeline of when applications should be submitted, when students should start thinking about what programs and what universities or colleges they would like to apply to.
I can start quickly. We have a little bit more flexibility. We and Maggie, again, a little bit more of an expert with this, but for us, with our new online application system, it's not open till January for September applications. So, I mean, this is the time for you to be doing your homework and your research and seeing where you would like to go. But yeah, for us, it's a little bit more flexible with the timelines. Did I miss anything, Maggie?
You're right, Nancy. I think for the advantage for in-country students, the application deadline could be extending a little bit longer as long as the students has valid study permit and in-country. And also consider with the program seats for international students, sometimes my close or high demanding program closing sooner than other programs. So we recommend for international students to apply as early as possible, and we will also give students and public the updates for each semester opening time and the deadline time. Give your instance, let's see, for September intake, normally we start in January and will be closed in May-ish for each year. So even if past due by May, please contact with our department and we will find out the best way and provide updates to let students or counselor know if we do still have availabilities. If we do, and for sure, a welcome to our students to apply.
Thank you, Maggie. Maybe I can just quickly go through the general guideline, I think, for most of the inter-university. So basically for most of university application deadline is January 15th next year. Although this is not a fixed deadline, but we would suggest you to apply for most of the program before that, because the reason for that is a lot of the program, especially for engineering, business, for nursing, those programs are typically very competitive. So we suggest you to apply before January 15th next year so that you all reserve yourself a spot. And in terms of submitting a supplemental material for the language test, for example, so for us, we need you to submit at least one language test results before April 30th next year. Some students might ask me if they got some higher grades, maybe they want to renew their IELTS grades after that. The reason is yes, but make sure that you submit at least one English test results before April 30. That will make sure that your profile is complete. And after that, if you have some higher mark, as long as you submit that before your language program start or before August, you will have the chances to get rid of some of the conditions such as the language programs and everything. And before July, make sure that you have to submit your final supplemental documents such as your Ontario secondary high school's diploma. Make sure that your school email where you actually email that directly to our admission office. So in that case, it's probably the complete admission process for our international students studying in Ontario.
I would also like to comment that for colleges, I believe for some university as well, we have 3 intakes a year. Fall, September, which is major intake, then it's winter intake, January, and the summer intake. For January intake, normally we starting accepting application in April or May each year, and the deadline will be October 1st. And for May intake, we're starting taking applications in October or November, depending on the year, and the closing line will be around February or March. Yeah, just for the reference.
Wonderful, thank you. So I see that we're almost nearing the end of our time. So I'm wondering if each of our panelists could maybe give their top 1 or 2 tips for applying for post-secondary for our international students. And as I mentioned to all of our participants, this will be recorded, so you can absolutely watch this back in the once it's posted to the OASDI website. And I know our panelists will be happy to answer any questions if you want to contact them directly or reach out to the international offices at the universities or colleges that you are interested in applying to. But if we could maybe spend the last few minutes just with some top tips from our experts here, that would be wonderful. Nancy and Maggie, would you like to start us off?
Sure, I'll start and then I'll let Maggie pick up where I left off. I think my top tip would just make sure you have all of your documents ready. You have all of your information together. You've done your homework, and you apply to as many places as you'd like. That's why these like OUAC and OCAS, they're very easy to work with to allow you to give yourself a lot of options. Don't just hope you're going to get into the one school. You want to have a lot of options. Of course, we want you to come to our school, but this is your whole life. It's a big journey. So make sure you're really doing the homework, figuring out where you'd like to go. And as we've all spoken about, get to know the school, get to know the programs, and connect with somebody in that program if you can, like a program coordinator or a professor or something. If you have specific questions, that's their job. They're there for you. That's why they're employed, because they have students that want to learn about what they're teaching. So, just reach out to those people. They're there for you. So Maggie, if you want to add anything to that.
Thank you, Nancy. Yeah, I would also like to add, as I was an international student, my recommendation is do or choose the program you like the most. Then planning transition from your study to working or later on living in Canada. At college, we provide much more practical skills and make sure that's the programs you like the most, and also relate to the pathway to the future job or the future university pathway. For the college study, it doesn't mean ending your education destiny. We have a lot of pathway with Ontario or Canada or nationalized or internationalized with other countries. So still there's many options for you to choose. And again, as Nancy mentioned that, and speak to us, and we were willing to help you. And especially our team, and as our own background, as our international students, and we would love to share as much as for students for their success. Thank you.
Ling, would you like to give your top 1 or 2 tips?
Yeah, absolutely. My first tip is don't be too stressed out. I understand that is the big decision. You have a lot of things that you have to explore, but just don't worry. You have your guidance counselor with you. You have your teacher. Ask them for more recommendation for the advice. Also, talk to the students that are already in university, and they will be your best resources to reach out and also to make connection. Second is, as international students, I highly recommend all of you guys be more proactive. So sending email, participating in events from the university and colleges, in asking questions. Sometimes I just feel like we have a lot of questions from local students, but not a lot from international students. So be proactive. Especially after you go into the university and colleges, we have a lot of the resources here to help you and support you. So the thing is that you have to make a good use of that, and that will actually help you to succeed in both of academic and also your life or even your career in the future. So that's probably my tips for you guys, and good luck, everyone.
And I'll end with my number 1 tip is to find something that you love. So, as we talked about rankings and so forth, in Canada, you're getting a fantastic education, and that it's going to be recognized throughout the world. So what is it that you like? What gets you fired up? What are the courses that you're really interested in? So, you don't have to have it all figured out when you're applying to college or university. You do have time to try different courses. There's a lot offered that isn't offered in high school. So you can try things that you might not have had exposure to, within the visual arts or geography or sciences or, political science. So, in your first year, you really get the ability to find yourself, try different courses and see where you end up. And just because you pick a program doesn't necessarily mean that's what your end result career is going to be. A liberal arts education like at Huron, most CEOs of big corporate organizations have a liberal arts degree because you're taught to think, not how to think. So using all of that transferable skills with your your career connections, with your internships, with your co-op, with your research, with engaging in the classroom and learning from your classmates. All of that together is going to help support you as well as prepare you for whichever career you go into. And, as we've seen over the past couple of years, the future is ever changing and technology is changing and people are changing. So you always want to make sure that you're set up with the skill set that's going to adapt as the world changes.
That's such great advice from all of you. Thank you so much. And I would really like to thank you again for being with us today. To our panelists, Megan and Ling and Maggie and Nancy, you really are the experts. And I know that our students have learned so much today about applying to Ontario post-secondaries. And I hope for our students that they're feeling a little bit more supported, a little bit more knowledgeable about the process. And again, please remember, I think the biggest takeaway from this is that there are lots of supports for you as international students when applying to universities or colleges. You don't have to go through this alone. We're all here to support you onto your next step of post-secondary in Ontario. So thank you all very much for participating today. I will end by saying, if you are interested in applying for a French program at an Ontario post-secondary, next Wednesday, we will have a seminar focused on post-secondary options for French-speaking students in Ontario. So join us for that next week if you are interested. Thank you again very much for participating. I hope you all have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, it was
guys.
wonderful. It was wonderful. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.